I heard about the 1971 Vancouver Calonas way before I ever saw them. I ended up on a team in Toronto that came out to the Nationals and actually had I think it was a playoff match against the Calonas. I must say, they kicked our ass. It was the shortest volleyball match I've ever played in nor seen. They were formidable. Every person on that team could have been a star on any other team. That was the 1971 Vancouver Calonas.
Calonas were really looked up to by every volleyball team in Canada at the time. They were unbeatable for a number of years, and when they came to the national championship, they were almost certainly in the finals and usually the winners of the national championship. I don't know how many years they took the trophy. I'm sure it's 3 or 4 times. It was during the time period where China was just beginning to open up to international teams. I think ping pong was the first sport that national teams from other countries went to China. But shortly after, volleyball was Canadian volleyball team, women's team, got to go to China to compete, and they were one of the first foreign teams to ever compete against teams in China. One of the girls said, "Oh boy, I sure would like to have an ice cream," because they were in the train and it was very dusty and so on. And what happens? A few stops later, the train stops with everybody in, and they're presented with ice cream cones. And then the train starts up again. So these are the kinds of incredible stories that the women's team are able to tell, for sure.
Congratulations, Vancouver Calonas. It's a memory I'll always remember. And welcome to the Volleyball BC Hall of Fame.
No, I didn't say elderly.
I just thought Victor told me I was an elderly looking woman.
No, I said elegant.
Well, here we are. First of all, thank you, Volleyball BC, from all of us, the 1971 Calonas Women's National Champions, for honoring this team for this year. We're grateful to have been remembered, as well as for having the opportunity to get together again again after 4.5 decades. And to begin again as a group, just where we left off. How wonderful is that? So it's lovely as well to see all of you here. So many people involved in the area that we played in this game that we so love. Many of you have also had kids who grew up playing volleyball after your own careers. There were some wee ones that were even stuck in playpens for years at the courtside. Tara Wilms, years in a playpen. Shelley Hunt, years. That's Helen and Ted's daughter, and of course Tara's June and Art's daughter. Now our 71 team coach, Victor Liddell, he did create a dynasty, and I know we're supposed to talk about 1 year, but you're going to hear that some of the other things that we did, the same group of people. It started in '66, and his vision is now reflected by generations of Olympians, professional volleyball athletes, elite and recreational players, coaches, leaders, and volunteers. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for keeping that legacy going. By 1971, Victor, you had 5 national team championships under your belt when we had come along. Along with, of course, the sponsorship from the Calonas, and can I say, really bad wine.
But it was free.
But it was free.
And there was lots of it.
So yeah, there was lots of it. So we also were blessed with a really great support team. First of all, our intrepid manager, Margie, where are you way down there? Margie Harris, replete with a crazy sense of humor and adventure, patience, and exceptional organizational and Victor soothing skills. With great humor, she kept us on track. We think she could have also played with us, as she must have learned all her skills by osmosis, but my understanding is that she didn't find our playing uniforms sufficiently flat. And our Yanis Latsis. Yanis, we're so glad you came tonight. You were with us every practice. You made sure that all our equipment was available in working order. You designed and built equipment for indoor and outdoor volleyball. This still has the molds for today. You endlessly shagged the balls. You were a joy to have with us. Your smile was constant, and I have to say, just lit up the gym wherever we went. So thank you, Laz. Of course, Art Williams was with us that year as our assistant coach. You heard earlier about Art's long, varied, and wonderful service to volleyball sport. But we're pretty sure that he and June moved to Vancouver in 1970, so they wouldn't lose once again as the Calgary Cats. So while we trained hard, really, really hard, we did have a ridiculous amount of fun and great adventures, of which the trip to the 1971 National Championships in Quebec was notable. We were so excited to go to Quebec City and see a real winter. We all had our parkas, we were all bundled up, and we hopped on the plane, only to hear the pilot say something about a big storm in the east. Well, after a few hours, quite a few hours by the way, and hovering over Montreal for a really long time, the pilot said we would have to turn back west. And we thought, well, that's great. We're going to have a lot of fun. Maybe we can go to Toronto or Winnipeg and stay overnight. But none of the planes could land, and there were no inns at the hotel, or rooms at the hotels there. So off we went back all the way to Vancouver, where our families and friends did not believe that we had come back. So we were fortunately able the next day to catch a plane and basically got onto the court just pulling on our shorts and our running shoes where we started the matches. Okay. I just want to tell you that we didn't lose a game or a set at that national championships. Nobody got over 10 points for us, and we won the finals with 3 straight shutouts, and it was good.
It was quick. Didn't waste time.
So in that season, we also competed in the U.S. National Championships, if you've heard, and we did beat the U.S. national team at their own national championships, such that the U.S. Volleyball Association excluded foreign teams to compete in their nationals thereafter. We like to think that exclusion prompted the early Canada-U.S. dialogue on free trade, but we're not sure. And as you heard, this entire team comprised the 1971 Pan American Games team. But they included 2 players from the East, so it wouldn't look like it was the Calonas and not Canada's national team. Along with the next 2 years of Calonas after the 1971 and Chimos, we also comprised 2/3 of the 96 Olympic team. From 71, myself, Kathy Gervin, and Jeffries. 72-73, Claire Lloyd, Debbie Heaps, Betty Baxter, Ardu Valenderville, Patty Olson, Barb Dalton. Wow. That was pretty amazing. And the other thing is that some of you may not know, 3 of us on that team were from the same high school, John Oliver Secondary. Mary McDonald had come. She had been an exceptional basketball and volleyball player, MVP for both in 1 year. She lit the fire under us, and then off we went. So a pretty impressive group that we were. After the Olympics, those original Calonas and Chimos teams continued to play, along with our Patty Schlaffen on teams, and we actually won 15 national titles, not 9, 15, which is unprecedented in volleyball as far as we know so far. We never lost in Canadian local, provincial, or regional competition. So who were we? Well, in alpha order, going backwards, June Wilms. June was a star in Alberta when she came to us. She was amazing. She could hit power offside. She was a great blocker. She had the sharpest spike angle that you've ever seen. It was inside the 2-foot line. It was unbelievable. And she had the most infectious laugh. She played for years as well after Olympics on the club team and into the 1980s. Our June passed away a few years ago after a long illness, but she is ever part of us. Colleen came to us, still in high school in North Vancouver, where Ann Jeffries was the coach, was teaching. Ann had us do a clinic there, and Colleen was hooked. She was a strong, precise, all-around player, and in 71-72 moved to Japan for a year with a top Japanese women's club team to play, coming back, of course, much better, or a lot better, or better, can I say that? Thereafter, Colleen became a well-known massage therapist who works and divides her time between Toronto and Vancouver. Diane Murray. Diane Murray was a sensation in grade 10 as a volleyball player in high school, came to the Calonas as an all-round player. She was a superb setter for our team, club teams and the national team, and then she coached the UBC varsity women's team for a few years as well. Thereafter, Diane was a high school business commerce department head while raising 2 sons before retiring and traveling with her husband. And Jeffries, a steady, unruffled, solid player who lent a mature calm to excitement when any other team got within 10 points of our score. We got a little excited if they got too many points. She married a volleyballer, Bob Ireland, and taught high school before moving to Ontario, where they raised their 2 sons. Anne was unable to come from Ontario this year for this award, but sends her love and thank you for everybody. Helen, well, you heard about Helen during her well-deserved individual athlete inauguration, so I won't say much more, except to say, again, thank you for your decades-long stewardship of our team. But I have to tell you one anecdote, and that is that Helen would regularly tell Victor, why don't we just hit the XXXX out of the ball and maybe it won't come back.
Forget that diving and rolling.
Kathy Green, an exceptional all-around high school athlete again, top sprinter. She was a first-string player right from the start at the beginning of her tenure with the Calonas. A formidable hitter, blocker, and overall amazing, tough competitor who never looked like it took any effort. I do remember one hit she did in the Olympics. I've never seen anything like it. She hit it so hard that it bounced almost to the ceiling of that big dome. It was unbelievable. I don't know how that ever happened. But that's a memory I have. Kathy moved to England in 1987, became a lawyer and lives and practices there. And that's now why she sounds so funny to us. And Fowler, our other Anne, wonderfully tall, left-handed, hit and blocked with force and conviction. She sang, played the guitar in our mini trips, and kept everyone in stitches with her wicked sense of humor. Anne went on to teach and become an elementary and then high school principal before retiring, and she now lives on Vancouver Island. Maureen Fishley, everyone, and I mean everyone, knew who Mo was. Tallest on the team, talented in music making of all sorts, kept us in hilarity, if not mischief, for hours and hundreds of miles of travel. Maureen was also an excellent athlete and the true hippie of our lot. She taught secondary school for a few years and has since lived in Hawaii. Now, the anecdote for Maureen is that when Lee Poulos, our team psychologist who taught us hypnosis, he would take us, we would have to lie down on like this dirt-infested carpet and do hypnosis. That was Victor's idea. So that we could learn to perhaps pay attention, focus more. Maureen used to fall asleep within 5 seconds and snore so loudly. So we really learned how to, tune out all the distractions from Mo. She lives in Hawaii, and we think she's on a beach and having fun in the sun somewhere, not able to be here either. Sandra Burvate-Hain, came to us also from high school, where she'd been identified as an exceptional all-around athlete. She had a spectacular jump. Super quick, strong, and also was a high-level middle distance runner. Sandra started her own volleyball dynasty after finishing with us. She moved to the U.S., where she married the big star of the U.S. national team, John Stanley, and they produced Clay. Clay's been at 3 Olympics and was named the MVP in the world in 2008 Olympics gold medalist team. So, Sandy, we are so delighted you came back. And Sandy, she asked me what she could bring from Hawaii, and I said, for God's sake, bring the sun. But she brought all of us legs. What did I do? Okay, I was a setter between 67 and 83 on various derivations of the Calonas, and was on the national team 67 to, I think it's 88. I went variously back to school, taught and coached high school for a few years before returning to university for far too long to become a psychologist, a neuropsychologist, and I'm still trying to retire. From all of us, I've talked to them. Have I? No.
I think you must have, yeah.
No, you missed him.
I thought I said.
Just let me talk.
Okay, I'm going to let you know.
There's nothing anyone doesn't know anyway, Carol.
How many have seen the movie, The Magical Season? Miracle Season? Yeah, Miracle Season. Miracle Season? Have some of you seen that? Claire, you would have seen it. Well, this was a miracle team.
Yeah.
And the reason this was a miracle team, I mean, Carol talked about many of the players. You had to narrow it down to 1 year. That's all you can name for the Hall of Fame. But that was the year we won Team of the Year for all the sports in British Columbia. And I can still remember Lauren Davies, the athletic director of Simon Fraser. And they said, and the Team of the Year is. And he started to get up. He thought it would be the Simon Fraser football team. And it was our team. He's never lived that down. But to win that Team of the Year award for all sports was highly significant. My good buddy, Dr. George McMaster, and I wrote a book called Endpoint Vision and Beyond. It's fine, and I learned this a lot in working with Olympic athletes. It's fine to have a picture to be in the Olympics. Maybe it's even fine to have a picture to do well. But it's the beyond that makes the difference. And you heard a little bit about this team, but we always had the beyond. It wasn't just to win the national championship. It was to keep every team in the country 5 points or under. And I remember playing against Scarborough one time. Hello. And they got 6 points. And they started to cheer. And they were all excited. And I called the timeout. I was furious. And Helen says, it's okay, Vic, it's okay. Like, what do you mean it's okay? We'll do the average of the 2 games, Vic. That's the last point they got. So it's one thing to aim to win the championship. It's one thing to aim to be the national champions. We were aiming to be the U.S. national champions. And that's why we went to Seattle. Vail remembers going to Knoxville, Tennessee. We went to Los Angeles, went to Hawaii, went to Portland. We took the bronze medal in the U.S. AAU championship. They weren't going to give us the trophy. Well, you're Canadian. Then in Hawaii, when we finished 4th, they voted not to allow any more foreign entries. And I said to the president, Harry Wilson, I said, what is this? He said, well, you might win it. I said, do you have any idea why we entered? This was a magical team. And I'm so pleased that I've had a chance to be part of this team. And I thank Volleyball BC for the honor of putting this. And Bethany, sticking with us to find all the players. This was maybe the most incredible job to get all of these players here. This was a huge task. Wow, is it ever exciting. Thank you very much to everybody that's here. Thank you, guys.
Gifted with long-time bonds such as ours, and that adventures and memories also find you to hold and cherish for decades.
Aww.